Hey guys, I'm Meteorologist Chris Tomer. Let's talk some mountain weather. We've got a lot to talk about on this update, including snow for the Northeast. It appears to be still on track. Out west, we have some residual snow with a clipper coming on the backside of our western blizzard that is now going to become the Northeast storm. So we're dealing with some light snow through parts of Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah. Also, very cold here in Colorado in the mountains here for the next couple of days. It's well below zero up there, 10, 11, 12,000 and higher. It's well below zero. It's going to be probably 20 below tonight on all the 13ers and the 14ers, and below zero for a lot of those places again on Friday. Then we're going to talk about the northeast storm, the western blizzard that becomes a northeastern storm, and the west will go quiet until we get to about 12:20. Then the pattern will start to ramp up, starting in the Pacific Northwest, BC, Banff, and then moving to the south. So we'll get into all that in this update. Let me just show you the pattern right now on water vapor. So there goes the big low headed to the northeast, and now behind it we've got you can see the jet flow running from northwest straight cutting down through Wyoming and into Colorado. That's where we're seeing some of that light residual snow kind of run down that jet with a clipper. The two lows in the Pacific are going to meander for a while. They're waiting for a hookup. So an Arctic front is going to develop this upcoming week, next week. So what'll happen is that Arctic front on about 12:19, 12:20 is going to come south, straight out of northern Canada. And it's going to be the catalyst, and it's going to connect and start to pick up both of those Pacific lows and bring them in. And that's how we're going to produce snow across the Intermountain West, the Intermountain West, and so on. I wrote about it on my blog this morning, christomer.com. Northeast snowstorm, western forecast, next 8 days. Take a look at that. I've got the pattern. Let me just look at the pattern here. We'll take it full so you can see it. So this is 12:16 across the west. So you've still got that. So that northern branch is playing a role, but there isn't much moisture across the west. Look at that low that's riding the southern branch over the Pacific, kind of meandering. The reason it's so quiet out west is because all the action is going to be out to the east during this period. All right, so this is 12:24. So this is way down the road. This is obviously Christmas Eve. So what I'm seeing here is an Arctic air mass. Look at the jet running all the way from northern Canada down to Texas. That's creating a slide. And so all this Arctic air is it's penetrating east of the Rockies. It's going to be significant. But what it will do is you can see what it's doing. It's picking up at this point, the second low, and bringing it into the Pacific Northwest. And that's why there's going to be some pretty good precip into the Pacific Northwest, BC, and other parts of the West as well. That's the second low. There's a low that would come before that, 20, 21, 22, 23. All right, let's focus on the Northeast for a second. So this is 12:16, 11 p.m. So there's was the western blizzard being escorted very quickly into the Northeast on a powerful jet streak. So you've got a good setup. Most of the big ski areas are on the cold side of the jet, and when the low comes in, provides the lift. That's it. You're going to get snow. And that's what I'm expecting. In fact, let me just show you what I'm thinking for the Northeast while we're here. The numbers are pretty similar to what I was showing yesterday. This is 12:15 through 12:19 to capture the storm. There are some standouts here, anywhere from 1 to 2 feet for most of the big resorts. Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Really good wind direction for Mount Snow. And obviously Mount Washington. Those will be the two big ones. Sugarloaf is up there. You're going to get the initial snow and then wraparound snow. So you get kind of a double whammy. This is a great forecast. 12:16, 12:17, and even 12:18 will be good skiing if we can see these numbers verify in the Northeast. All right, so back to the blog here. Looked at all that. Let's look at talked about the pattern. Let's look at timing. Out west. So this is the forecast radar and satellite. Here we are on Friday morning at 6, and then by Saturday morning at 6, very quiet. Sunday morning at 6, all the actions up in Banff, BC, Pacific Northwest, northern Idaho, and northwest Montana. Then things start to change on 12:20 and beyond. Look what happens. So that first low gets picked up, starts to bring the moisture in. with the Arctic front. The moisture sort of overrunning the Arctic front. So you're getting snow in Sun Valley and Brundage and into the Tetons at that point. Well, eventually, all that's going to start to shift beyond 1220 and become snow for the Wasatch and snow for Colorado as well down the road. So there you go. All right, and then we went into forecast totals. Let me show you what I'm thinking here. So the initial period, 1215 through 1217, very light residual snows. Wasatch, Tetons, Big Sky, Colorado, 1 to 4 inches for most places. What you see up in the Pacific Northwest and in BC and Banff, that's late. What you're seeing, additionally with the flow that may be coming in late in the period. Once we get that Arctic front that dives south, then we'll start to pull that flow down to Washington, Oregon, and into the rest of the West, closer to 1220. So that's the initial period. Here's the final period, 1218 through 1223. A note, tomorrow I'll take the forecast all the way into Christmas. So we'll do 1224, 1225 tomorrow on the update. But this is what I'm seeing through 1223. That's a pretty solid flow on a northwest orientation of the jet. You're looking at 2-3 feet Pacific Northwest, some decent numbers into interior BC. Idaho looks good. Montana looks good. I mean, if this pans out, you're talking about a significant orographic flow for the Tetons of over 2 feet. Obviously, it's a long way out, but given the current guidance, I like the orientation versus the Tetons. And in Colorado, the central and northern mountains would be starting to get some of that blow-off snow on that northwest flow orientation. So that's usually a very good thing for Colorado. Add into the fact that we're going to have Arctic air intruding, an Arctic air intrusion, that will get some pretty good ratios out of this thing. So it's going to be, once we get into next week, we're looking at the potential for an Arctic blast, which is one of the reasons we get to pull the snow into the west, because it, like I was saying earlier, it sort of hooks up to those lows and brings them in from the Pacific. So there you go, guys. Hope you appreciate I always appreciate you guys tuning in here. Hope you like the snow forecast, and we'll do another update tomorrow. Take care.